Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Diamonds and Washi. My name is Katie and today I am here to share with you my latest project that I'm looking to kick off for 2024, and that is a cross-stitch conversion to a diamond painting of a temperature piece. Let me try to explain this really quickly for those of you that may not understand some of the terms that I just shared with you. So first, a cross-stitch conversion, in this case, it's referring to I'm going to be taking a cross-stitch chart and turning it into a diamond painting on a blank canvas. And what a temperature piece is some sort of craft or artwork that you are tracking based on the temperature throughout the year. And I've seen this concept done in a number of different ways. I've seen people do temperature blankets, temperature scarves. I know that there are temperature cross-stitch patterns, but I hadn't really ever seen someone do one as a diamond painting. And then someone actually posted in the Facebook group that I co-run with Lindsay from Emeralds and Fairy Lights. The Facebook group is called Diamonds and Emeralds. It'll be linked below if you're curious. But someone posted in there this temperature pattern that they had done on a diamond painting, just on a blank canvas for 2023. And in the comments of that post, someone mentioned that they had a dragon temperature chart that they were thinking of converting to a diamond painting. This gal's name was Shell, and I saw her comment and immediately was like, hi, a dragon temperature chart? I want to know more. Can you please share the link with me as long as it's licensed? And she did. So thank you so much to Shell, and all credit goes to the gals in this post and for giving me this idea. I did not come up with it on my own by any means. So I picked up this chart. It is from the Etsy shop Kristi's Corner, and this is designed specifically for 2020, well, any leap year really, and 2024 is a leap year, so it's going to include a spot for February 29th. And I also have my materials here, and I want to try to walk you through the process of, well, at least my approach to this particular project. And I've mentioned it to a couple other people, and they've asked for me to just sort of walk through and explain a little bit, and hopefully that will also make it feel accessible to you. So I know it is, as of the time of this filming and probably posting, it's the end of January. We are a bit into the year. I didn't see this post and decide to do this until about halfway through January, and then had to get my materials. But I'm going to be applying some catch up, and I think that the pattern is the number of diamonds that I'm going to be putting down per day is going to be pretty manageable for me to be able to catch up. So let me try to walk you through it. So, in this case, with Kristi's Corner and this chart, she included a lot of helpful information, and anything that I show you in this video is things that were included in the listing, and so I'm not showing you anything that is breaking, the copyright that goes into this. Just so you're aware, I went back and double checked what she shows in the listing, just because, with cross-stitch charts, I cannot show you the actual whole pattern because that breaks kind of the licensing and copyright of it. But I have my chart here and everything that was downloaded that came with it. And so the way that this works is you can choose if you want to each day look at what the high temperature was, what the low temperature was, and what the average temperature was. And you're going to assign a color, a DMC color code to a temperature range. So let's say that I have well, actually, guys, I have my list right over here, but I'm trying to give you just a basic rundown here. Basically, like the higher temps, maybe like this is, I think, her higher temps for maybe the summer. She assigned some pinks and reds and darker colors to it. And depending on what the temperature was that day and what she's going by, in this case, I think she went by the high temperature, whatever range it falls in for that color, that's the color she's going to place for that particular day. And here's just an example of, if it were just in, basic colors, this is how you can see like where the different colors are going to go in each month. I'm trying to think of how to explain this in a way that makes sense, but she includes this really helpful set of notes here, including a YouTube video that she has done where she explains it, her channel. And so the way that I have chosen to do this is I'm looking at the high temperatures throughout the year, and that's what I'm going to reference. And to give me a sense for what ranges I should work with, I went to the website that she suggested, which was wonderground.com/history, and I was able to put in my location and look at what the temperatures were last year. It's got you can look at the history of temperatures. And I mean, I live in Southern California, so I actually don't have as wide of a temperature range as maybe many others have. And so I kind of got a sense for, okay, where are the lows, where are the highs, and just kind of roughly mapped it out. She does include, let me find it here. I've recommended, here is like what she did for this chart that she shared, is she mapped it out to like, okay, between these temperature ranges, this is the color floss I want to use, between these temperature ranges, and so on and so forth. And this is the DMC code that she used in floss. And I use this just as a reference, as a starting point, and then I just modified it to my temperatures, and then I did tweak the colors that I chose as well. If you're curious to see what I ended up with, this was mine. So I broke mine down into very, very small ranges. She recommends that you stick within no more than 4 degrees Fahrenheit or 2 degrees Celsius. This is Fahrenheit. And because, I don't know, she had so many colors on her list, like 20 something colors, I was shooting for about the same, and I'm kind of wondering, I have narrowed it down a little bit to fewer colors, but this is what I went with and this is what I ordered. We'll see how it goes. This is very much going to be a learning experience for me. I have a feeling that when I go into the next year and next temperature project, if I do it again, I'm going to have learned a lot and have lots of thoughts about what I would want to do differently. But this is just what I ended up with, and the colors that are over here are the color code that I decided to go with in a particular special drill type that I ordered from DP with Sparklers, because I thought, this is a dragon, how fun would it be to give it some extra glitz? However, I have seen a lot of people saying that they're just going to use their leftover drills, and so they just pull their leftover drill colors and say, here's what I have to work with, and I'm going to work within this and assign colors from there, if that makes sense. So the nice thing is and she points this out in here, is there's no distinct shading in the piece, so you don't have to try to make it like just so, but I did try to group color families together in how I did my ranges, so hopefully I will see some similar, you know, like, oh, maybe lots of reds and pinks in particular months and areas. So she does say that on average you'll be stitching 27 stitches a day, which is, 27 diamonds a day. That feels very doable to me. And then, okay, so she includes this as well. That's kind of a map of how the months are laid out. And there is an outline on the piece as well. And so I chose to get, I think a dark gray is what she went with in hers. And so I did, I think, go with like a dark gray special drill for these outlines. And then the eyes and the nose she had outlined in a black color. And so I think I went with maybe a black special drill. I think I wrote down here. Yeah, I did. So the eyes and the mouth are going to be the 310 and the outline is going to be 317, which is a gray color. And then beyond this, she also maps out for you, which I think this is going to be really helpful. And this will make more sense when you see the chart, which obviously I can't really show you, but it's like, it's telling you the direction that she went in. And she says, here's the map and everything. Let me try to find part of it that I can safely show you that's not going to give anything away. So for example, if you look at this and you look at this, you can already see where kind of these color breaks are. So she started in the center jewel, and this was January 1st. And then she went down, and this color was January 2nd. This was January 3rd, January 4th, January 5th, and so on and so forth. But I mean, you could do whatever you want. And she does show a really small portion of the chart on the listing, just as an example. So I will show you a very small portion of this as well. very similar to what she showed. But how this works is that the chart itself, it has these different sets of numbers. I think there's 4 different numbers, and where the number breaks are where you change days. So for example, like one day would be this set of ones that would represent one day, and the second day might represent this set of sevens. And then the ones that are not numbers, like this right here, like this is the outline in the nose, for example. And so that's how she really tries to note and make it kind of clear. But I wonder, I don't know, once I start working on it, I wonder what my learnings and what my thoughts might be. I think it's going to be a lot of learnings for sure. And I will do some update videos as we go, because I would like to show you what I'm learning. And that way, if any of you want to jump in, you can. But I'm really looking forward to trying this out. Now let me show you the materials that I ended up with. Because I decided to do this project and the year had already started, I wanted to move as quickly as possible. So while this does tell you the stitch count is 124 by 139, and I could convert this into centimeters, but really it's such a small count that I just know that it's 124 drills by 139 drills basically. And so I'm going to be looking at a grid of paper, and I'm just going to count it off. And like I said, so I was kind of in a rush, and so I was like, I don't really have time to order a correct size canvas. So I'm going to use this to experiment a little bit. And I actually bought this roll of Diamond Dots gridded blank fabric. There's glue on here as well. Yeah, with adhesive. There are a few different kinds that you can get, so I want you to make sure that you're getting the correct kind. They have one that like doesn't have adhesive. They have one that doesn't have grid lines. There's a lot of options. But this was actually available at my local Joann's, so I was able to just go pick it up that day. And what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna cut it down to size, and I'm gonna experiment with I don't know, painting a border around the diamonds, and that's probably going to involve me having to figure out how to take off the adhesive in those areas, because let me show you how I think this is going to work. So, is that taped? It is. We're learning together. This is how I often do things here. So, you'll get a polished how-to video once I actually have spent more time working on this, but for now, this is kind of the learn with me style. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is, so we're talking 124 by 139, and so if we're going, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, and so, that will be, that'll cover like the 124, and then the 139 high, we've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Did I count that? 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140. So exactly the right height. I guess maybe I'll flip it so that I have more space to work with, but I'm going to center it. I'm going to go ahead and use like a Sharpie or a label sticker to write off the grid, because the chart itself does let me know where those numbers are on the chart, and so I'll be able to know where I'm working with, especially because I'm going to be starting in the center. And like I said, I think because, especially if I do it this way, with, the longer side, going this way and the shorter side going this way, then I'll have a little bit of blank grid on either side of it. And like I said, I kind of want to play with removing the adhesive and the line, maybe even the lines. I'm going to try using pure acetone. That's what I saw recommended when I did just a little bit of Googling. We'll test it out and see how it works. And then maybe painting around the border of the pattern, because like I said, I didn't get something that was too exact size, so we're just going to use this as a experimental time. But I like that this is gridded off. This is set for square diamonds, and I'm really intrigued. It is set for square diamonds, right? I'm going to take a look at this. if it specifies. That looks like a square drill grid to me, but I'm just like looking at it going, what if it's rounds? Oh no, I will double check. I'll grab some diamonds and like test it. But if this is for some reason for round diamonds, I'm gonna have a hard time. We'll figure it out from there. But just at first glance, fingers crossed, it looks like it's set for squares. And so, like I said, the pattern January starts in the middle, like in the snout here, and starts right with that gem. Like she starts it right here. So I'm gonna have to carefully count off from the sides and go from there. One other thing I want to note, if you're looking at getting a cross stitch pattern to turn into a diamond painting on a blank canvas, so a couple of things. So for one, because this is designed for cross stitch, you'll notice it's showing it on fabric here. It doesn't actually have any stitching charted for these areas. It's just blank. So I think just gonna get just a white diamond color, maybe like 3865 or similar. And I'm gonna fill in these spaces on the diamond painting canvas. That way there's not just grid lines hanging out there, and that'll just make it a little bit neater. So that is my plan for these blank areas. I think in the eyes as well, there's no stitching done in the eyeballs. So I think, yeah, you can kind of see it in here. So I am planning to fill in those spaces. I also was really careful to make sure that this didn't have any back stitching or special stitches, because there's not really a way to replicate that in diamond painting forms. That is something that you do want to watch out for, but there's none of that in this particular piece. So I also just wanted to show you the special drills that I ended up getting. These just came in yesterday, and I'm really excited to take a look. What I did is I went over to the DP with Sparklers website, and I was kind of looking at some of the different special drill types that they had, looking at some of the color variation that they offer. Let me make sure my invoice isn't going to show or anything. Okay. I think I see it right there. Hold on a second. And I was like, okay, there's metallics, there's ABs, there's crystals, there were a lot of different options. And what I ultimately decided to go with was they're glitter drills. They're not like the dust ones with it brushed on top, but it's got like flakes of glitter in it. I will show you here in just a moment. Hold on, I'm just going to check this really quick. And like I said, I mapped out all the colors that I wanted, and there's some freebies that she included. And I ended up buying like 20 something different colors. So these are glitter. They're glitter. And if you look, these have like almost glitter chunks in them. And this just seemed very dragony to me. I thought about going with a metallic, but there wasn't quite the range of colors available. So I thought we'll go with glitter. Okay. And like I said, I did try to map this out, because you could go on the DP with Sparklers website with the special drills. They'll show pictures of the actual diamonds there so you could see. So I was going through and mapping out like, okay, I'm going to have it kind of go through the color family of like greens and then oranges and then reds and so on and so forth. Here is, okay, so this is the black color. I did get black glitter to do the outlining with. That's so fun. I love that it's like a gold glitter. And then this is the gray, this is like the outline of the eyes and the snout. And then this is the outline in between the months. I got this gray, it's 317. I hope that's going to have the effect that I'm picturing in my head. We'll see. I hope it just doesn't look like a mess of glitter and that we really see the individual colors come through. But yeah, so what were some ones that I started with? So 3740 was, okay, so I started I think with purples and then went into like 158. Oh no. Okay, and then went into some blues like 158, 824, then went to 334, and then went to where's 3810. So it was like, these are like the first set. I'm not really sure why I started with this purple color, to be honest with you. I can always swap these ranges around. Like I can move colors around now that I have them in front of me. I might go, actually, how about I put them in this order? But for example, like these are the first 5 colors that I mapped out for like my lower temperature ranges. And so hopefully that'll make for some nice color flow between like the different areas. We'll see. I ended up with, you can see like there's some purples, there's some reds, there's some oranges, there's some pinks. I feel like I have a lot more warmer colors than anything, but I'm really curious to see how this looks, you guys. And like I said, I decided to just kind of try it out and go with it. And I think this might be more colors than I actually need. So I really might go in and adjust my temperature ranges and use a little bit fewer colors. But how fun is this gonna be? I really am curious to see how this ends up looking just with the colors that I picked out. She did pick like quite the rainbow of colors, but she does say you could pick like, oh, you want to do mostly pastels, or she has a couple of different she has like 2 different color chart options. There's like this one, and then there's one that has more jewel tones. So you can kind of make it be whatever you want. You can pick whatever color ranges you want. There's nothing saying you have to have like 20 something colors. It's purely, no, you just pick what the color range is, and then it just changes from day to day. It's, your color range, really, it could be 5 degrees Fahrenheit if you wanted, and you might just have the same color in multiple spaces right next to each other. Like in this space, you can tell that these 2 days, maybe is this 3 days, maybe even, we're all in the same temperature range, so those all end up being the same color. So I am really intrigued by the concept of starting this project. I obviously have some catch up to play. I'm hoping that this is going to end up being enough diamonds for the project. I think most nervous if I'm going to have enough for this gray color for the outlining, and I think the black I'll be fine because this is just the outlining in the snout and the eyes. I'm hoping I'll be okay, and I do need to order the regular white diamonds for the background, but I hope that makes sense. I feel like, for what it's worth, most of the work you're going to do for this is going to be up front. It's going to be mapping out what you want your color ranges and colors to be. And if it would make it easier for you to just be like, I know I want to have this many colors, so I'm just going to order all the colors and then see what they look like and then choose what order I want them to go in from there, you could absolutely do that, but I did map it all out ahead of time. Let me take a look at her little tip sheet here again and see if there's anything else I want to make sure that I mention that I think you'd find helpful. Yeah, so again, there's a couple of different resources that you can reference as far as finding out what general temperature ranges, common temperature ranges are in your area. And going from there, like obviously there was no point in me having temperature ranges where, again, I'm going to be looking at what the high for the day is. And that's what I'm referencing. So I'm like, what was the lowest high that I average in Orange County, California? And it really was like, very few days did we ever have where the high was below 60 degrees Fahrenheit. And so there's no reason for me to have color ranges say, well, on these days, the high was 30 degrees Fahrenheit, because then I'm never going to have that color on my canvas. So I do recommend, either using this Wonderground website that she recommended, which is here, spelled with a W-U, and you could start with that. Or I think I just Googled like weather history, and it came up with some other options as well. And I'm thinking what else I might want to mention. She does mention for this chart in particular that in some of the horns, that there are some days that have very, very small sections, like maybe just a half dozen diamonds are being placed, but those are still days and should count just by themselves. And each month is separated by a line of, in this case, it's going to be a line of this color that's going to separate out the months. So I think maybe I don't know if I'll do the whole outline first, but I certainly will at least do the outline for the month of January so that is set, and then fill that in. And maybe I'll add in the outline for the month of February. That could be a fun way to see it come together. Or I don't know, would you guys do the outline of the entire dragon head and just have that all done? I don't know, you guys. I'll have to decide. So she said, especially particular to this pattern, that she deliberately mapped it out this way with the months traveling clockwise around the image like this. So it kind of keeps the face, she said, cohesive in terms of color scheme, she hopes, because it kind of keeps the, winter months in one area, and then the horns fade from spring to autumn and autumn to spring and so on and so forth. So hopefully that's going to make for a nice color transition and feel cohesive. She does also mention that at least for this pattern, she did not include a specific spot to like stitch the year or put diamonds for the year. Since I'm going to be doing the whole background in white diamonds, I might just pick a bottom corner, like one of these bottom corners, and just put in, diamonds that make out the number, 2024. Yeah, I might do that. And yeah, so I think that really about covers it. So I am going to try to get started on this very soon, and I will post an update video here, hopefully in the month of February at some point, or maybe March, depending on how busy it is, where I can share just some additional thoughts and learnings. And genuinely, like, you can jump in any time. You can play catch up. Like I'm gonna have to do for the month of January. I'm gonna have to go back and look at what the history was of what were our high temperatures each day, because I did not actually sit and write them down. From here on out, though, I'm just going to pull up my weather app. I'm just probably going to write out here on my paper, each day, so I can note it, because I don't necessarily know that I'm going to pull this out and diamond paint it every single day. I'm imagining that like once or twice a week, I'm going to sit down and do it. I don't know. We'll see, though. But I will try to do an update video where I can share some more thoughts in detail. I will take a look and see if I can link to this Diamond Dots fabric if you want to get a roll like I did. If you want to order something that is exactly to size, I would recommend someplace like Jada Gem Shop, where you can just say, hey, here's the stitch count, can I get a blank canvas? And you'll get a really nice quality blank canvas pretty easily. And there are other shops out there as well that you can get blank canvases to a certain size, but I appreciate that like Jada Gem Shop will like help me with that experience, and especially if you're like, I haven't done a cross stitch conversion project before, I'm not sure what I'm doing, and Jade, the owner, is really incredibly helpful. So I will link to them. I'll also, of course, link to DP with Sparklers. Again, I went with glitter drills, glitter colors for this whole thing, and time will tell if that's gonna just look completely wild or if it's gonna look just like a fantastic, fabulous dragon. Now, I have worked on some cross-stitch conversion projects in the past, and I will have a playlist that I've put together for those below. I've never done a temperature project before, so there is a lot about this that is still very new to me, but I am at least familiar with reading a cross-stitch pattern and counting and placing diamonds based on that. And but this, I don't know if I would call this necessarily a really beginner-friendly project, or if maybe I'd suggest starting with one of the mini cross-stitch conversion kits that actually Jada Gem Shop has as well. Those are really incredibly beginner-friendly, and I think a good way to kind of dip your toes in and see if this is for you. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Have you ever done a temperature project before, whether it's as a diamond painting or another craft? I would be so curious to hear from you. A big thank you to the gals in Diamonds and Emeralds, that the gal that initially posted about her temperature project that she did, and as well to Shell, who posted about this specific pattern. I'm so excited to be working on this one, especially because this year just feels like the perfect time to celebrate all things dragons. And I'll be keeping you guys posted. I'll also try to post some updates over on my Instagram account too. There's lots of other fun temperature patterns out there too. Like I had sent this over to some friends. I was like, oh my gosh, guys, look at this. And then I poked around this shop, which again, the shop was Kristi's Corner. Of course, I'll link to this chart in her shop. I was like, look, there's ones that have bookshelves. There's ones that had plants and was like really cottagecore. There's fun stuff out there on Etsy. So go and take a look, even if dragons aren't your thing. But anyway, I hope this was helpful. Let me know your thoughts below in the comment section. I'm excited to hear what you think and share this project, and feel free to join me as well. So thank you for watching, and feel free to subscribe if you're not already subscribed and want to stay up to date with this project and other diamond painting things that I work on. I do a lot of tutorials and unboxings and whatnot, and I'd love to have you here. So welcome, welcome. I hope that you all have a day and a week that's as amazing as you are, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.